believe that it's only February. The sun is out, it's absolutely stunning. My view from this perspective is fantastic. Looking out over the field and the hills in the distance and the sunlight and blue sky. Blue sky is so rare on the Isle of Man this time of the year. And I'm trying to make the most of it, and I've been very busy on my plot, clearing and tidying and getting ready for spring. And it actually kind of feels like spring is here today. And I want to take you on a walk around my plot to kind of see what I've been up to, see what's growing, and then also have a little peek around the allotment field to see if we can find any signs of life. This bed here in the front was filled with oca and some gladioli and some other bits and bobs. That's completely cleared now. I've put down some manure on it, but more is yet to come. I order the manure from a local equestrian center, and they actually give it to us for free, so we just have to pay for the delivery of it. And it's fantastic, well composted manure, and there'll be plenty more going on my entire plot this year because I'm going to be trying to do more no-dig gardening. The next bed down here, the only thing left are some radishes and some green onions. Now the radishes have gone over, they're very woody, but the leaves are still green and lush, and I've left them up for two reasons. First of all, so that my plot doesn't look so barren. And second of all, I read recently that you can eat them. And I'm gonna try, see what they taste like. That's not bad. If you recall from my November gardening video, these are my Chinese garlic, and I planted them back then and they are doing very, very well. And if they produce some excellent cloves in June this year, then I'm going to have to reconsider my opinion on accidentally purchased Chinese garlic. So this little patch here is where I grow a mishmash of perennials and flowers and soft fruit and comfrey, and it's kind of my little area for wildlife. And I've got some green here, not very much, but it includes the Welsh onions that I love. These are gigantic chives, and they're perennial. They come up every single year. One of my favorite perennials. I've got some sweet williams that have survived, and this here is a sedum. It's a wonderful plant, an autumn flowering sedum for bees and other beneficial insects. This over here is a self-seeded foxglove, and I'm allowing the few that I've found in my allotment to grow. But if you have children, be very careful of these because the leaves contain the toxin digitalis, which is used in some heart medicines. But if you eat the leaves, it can cause you to be very sick, and it can be potentially fatal as well. Now, I love my ponds. My plot wouldn't be the same without it, but it is very, very dirty and mucky right now. And let's have a look. Ugh. Ugh, look at that. Ugh. I need to clean this out properly, and before any frogs decide to spawn in it. And I need to be quick as well because I've seen pictures of a local pond here on the Isle of Man, and it already has frog spawn in it. Can you believe that? So this is going to be a project in the next couple of weeks, cleaning this guy out without harming any of the wildlife that's living in it at the moment. So that's going to be a mission. So I'm walking over to this side of the wildlife patch, and this is the bed where I grow raspberries. And the decoration along the front is actually from pruned raspberry canes from previous years. And it's holding up really well. Looks quite pretty. Now in the bed, it is still very early, but we have some garlic chives that are just starting to come up. Look at those. That's one of the best things about perennial alliums, onions, is that they're some of the very first greens to come up. And make you as a gardener feel quite cheerful, but I also found this just earlier. Look at that, raspberry greens coming up. It's not going to be long before this entire bed will be covered in greens. Because I've been so happy with the raspberry cane edging, I've continued it along this bed, along the side of my plot, and it's keeping my blueberries, gooseberry, and other perennials looking quite tidy. And I've actually run out of the raspberry canes now, so I'm looking forward to pruning the new lot this year, and I will continue this along the bottom. A couple of videos ago, I showed you how I clear my strawberry patch and how I tidy it up. Now I've cleared the entire back row along here, and I'll be putting in some new strawberries very soon. Here in the front, on this side, I've tidied up all of the existing plants, and these are 1- and 2-year-old strawberries and pine berries, the white strawberries. And they're looking a bit sad, but they'll be ready to start growing very soon. Over here, I've got a row of soft fruit bushes that I've transplanted alongside the netting. And the soft fruit bushes include some gooseberries and some black currants at the end. Inside the netting, I've got some kale growing mainly, and some greens at the bottom. So we've had a look around my plots, and now I'm going to take you around and have a look at some of the other plots here at the Laxey allotment. And we have about, I don't know, 20 plots that are being worked at the moment, maybe less. Unfortunately, a plot holder just walked past and she's giving up her plot, just too many work commitments. And this is a reality with an allotment. A lot of people start up, and I think that there's some romantic notions over growing and having a garden, and the hard work that's entailed isn't really realized until you're in the thick of it. And I would say probably the majority of people that I've recruited have unfortunately had to give up their plots, and it's just a time commitment. You really need to be up at a plot working it at least once a week, if not more. And yeah, so hopefully I can find some more keen gardeners this year to take over some of the vacant plots that we have here at Laxey. But in the meantime, let's go check out and see what some of these plots that people already have and are maintaining look like. This plot just down below mine was a raspberry patch up until last year, and a new person took it over and leveled it and put in some what I imagine are very expensive raised beds. And it'll be interesting to see what grows here next year. It looks very tidy. And just over to the right here, this has always been a really nice plot. And the previous tenant had to give up due to family commitments. She's got 3 children, and there's a new lady here who works the plot with her mum. And they have another plot that they've taken over on the far side of the field as well. Look at all those Brussel sprouts. Wow. Now the person who has this is, I think he lives alone. He must have Brussels sprouts every night of the week. I can spot some brassica cabbage greens, some leeks in here. Putting in the foundation of a garden or an allotment plot early on will save you so much time and effort. So you can see here, putting down paths with wood chips on them or some other type of material, putting in your raised beds, putting in all of that kind of garden infrastructure creates the kind of backbone of your garden. This plot holder has opted to use some black horticultural material, so landscaping fabric, to put down on their beds, and I imagine that this is just to keep the weeds down over winter. Quite a few soft fruit bushes in this bed. Lots of gooseberries, it looks like. Some little trees at the end. Let's go have a look to see what they are. I love this about allotments, that you can have a peek at what people are growing. That's a patio cherry. And get ideas for your own garden. Some lovely leeks there in the distance. Look at those, so sunny and cheerful. You know, it doesn't look pretty, but black plastic is very effective. It's effective at keeping weeds down, of clearing plots in an organic way without having to use herbicides, and can make having an allotment association, an entire field, and also an individual plot so much easier. You'd think that globe artichokes would be a lot more tender, but they do really well throughout the winter. They keep all of their greens, a lovely and reliable perennial veg here on the Isle of Man. You know, I don't really show it very often, but you know, sometimes I will film my YouTube videos from that little seat up there. This plot down below used to be beautiful. It used to belong to an elderly gentleman, a retired vicar, and he took it back last year, but I don't think his health has really allowed him to work it. So it's very likely that we'll have to be finding another tenant for this plot, and I've played with the idea of taking it on myself. I don't know if I have enough time, to be honest. I would love to have a little bit more land, but we'll see. Actually, I've asked him about it, and we'll see what he says when he comes back. I might take half of it, and the lady down here, she's got a friend who's also interested in joining the association, so maybe we could potentially split this land. It's an interesting and very tempting thought. On the side that's closest to me, there's quite a few soft fruit bushes, raspberries, blackberries, currants, etc. And I could imagine just laying a long kind of bed of manure here in between, and maybe planting it up with pumpkins or some other long growing veg. We'll see. We'll see. So we're back to where we started. Back at my plot. I think that's a goldfinch. Oh, there's so many birds up here. I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that look around my allotment garden and also around some of the plots of others here at Laxey. And if you've got any questions or comments, leave them down in the fields below. I'm pretty quick about getting back to people. And then also, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. That tells me and it tells YouTube that you like the video, and it will help to recommend it to other people, and it will tell me that I need to make more videos like this. Anyway, thanks again. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next Sunday here on the Lovely Greens YouTube channel.